Hey, hello everybody, and welcome to the Overly Critical Hyperanalytical Movie Club. As always, I am Wolfie, and I am here with my cohort, Matty.
Hi,
How you doing, Matty?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing pretty good. Just getting it all set and ready here. Feel good. Feel pretty good. Hope everybody out there is having a good evening. We're back at you tonight with some movie news we're going to talk about. And also we're going to review Judas and the Black Messiah, which we both watched just on yesterday, I think. And what else were we going to do? We're going to look at some answers from one of our questions at the Facebook group. If you haven't joined the Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/overly critical movie club. As well, if you want to leave comments during the chat on this, remember to hit that link that says streamyard.com/Facebook in order for us to see your name. I'll give you an example. Somebody just hit up, "What's up?" but it only comes up as Facebook user. If you'd like for your profile picture and your name to come up, then go ahead and give StreamYard permission to do that. Other than that, I think we'll jump right in right here. So our first news item of the day is Joel and Ellie have been cast in The Last of Us. Both Game of Thrones alums, Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey, set to play Joel and Ellie. What do you think about this? You played the game, correct?
Yeah, I played both of them. The only thing I didn't play was that prequel add-on that came with The Last of Us.
Oh, right.
But I never played that. I have the PS4 version that they redid. I just never went back and played it. Sometimes it's hard for me to go back and replay games, but I played both of them. I love both of them. They're probably two of my favorite games of recent memory that spooked me, but had a great time playing, and they just touched me to my core.
Nice.
I love Joel and Ellie, and I will, despite how people feel about The Last of Us Part 2, I wish things would have went differently, but it's the story they wanted to
Really?
tell. So, and I played it, and I enjoyed every second of it. As for casting, I'm down. Let's do it. I don't know. I mean, I know
Yeah.
some people have said they don't think Pedro is a good Joel, but
Man, I wonder
I
why
don't know,
that
man.
is. I
I'm
have
into
not
it.
seen that. Yeah, he's such a strong actor. He's such a great presence on camera. He can literally sell anything, and I would say that the Joel that we have is quite generic. Besides, some of the few qualities that stand out in the games, but he's a pretty generic kind of everyman. And Pedro Pascal, just in who he is and his talent, he can lend a little bit more dimension to that. I think he's great. I think she's great too. I think a lot of
Hmm.
people had some ideas of who would be really good, because there are a lot of actresses that would really look the part, and they'd be strong. Like, I forgot the other girl's name, Caitlin Dever. I forget if that's her name. Young actress who kind of looks like Ellie. I know I just said actress there. Don't judge me, people. But she's really strong,
Yeah.
and this girl, we've seen her in a few really standout scenes in Game of Thrones, but we've yet to see her have like an extended, scene work, especially with Pedro Pascal. But she's such a talented young actress too that I think they're both going to knock it out of the park. For my money, so far, this seems rock solid, I will say.
So I remember when they cast him, and I saw a lot of people put up the movie prospect for Pedro Pascal.
Yeah.
And as soon as I read it, memories went back to that film, and I think it's a really great, small, low budget film that's, does what it can with the technology and money that they had, and just having Pedro, with this female character, kind of sets you up for this overgrown, the
Yeah.
world of The Last of Us. And I think she's a strong actress. I think every scene that Bella Ramsey was in Game of Thrones, and having to be this little girl queen of, you know,
Yeah.
I feel like she commanded it, and I
Absolutely.
think
Yeah.
there are
That's,
moments that Ellie has to, I mean, we've all played the game, and if you haven't at this
she's,
point, I'm sorry. There's going to be moments where Ellie's going to have to strike out on her own. She's going to have her own single
yeah.
episodes because that's how TV works. So
And
I
I'll
think
say
she's going to be
this.
really strong.
Yeah, I'll say this. Like Ellie is just like she's like death incarnate, you know, after playing those
Yeah.
games and just like murdering hundreds of these opposing enemies and stuff. So I don't know. I'm just stating that in that I know this actress is like really commanding for her scene presence. So
Well, I like this too because
yeah.
she's young enough now that if, a season 2 and if, as the events of Last of Us Part 2 play out,
Mm-hmm.
there might not be a Joel in season 2. Sorry if you haven't
Right.
played the game, but
Ooh,
at least with Pedro,
spoiler.
you can at least with Pedro, you could have him on for like flashback scenes. He'll come in. He's in the HBO alum. They love him
Yeah.
over there. So I think casting someone younger who might not she is going to grow up with the character. So if this series does go on for 3, 4, 5 seasons, we can follow her, and then you can cast Abby and all these other characters that can
Right.
come into this world. And I think Pedro is going to be a solid lead. If he doesn't make it to the second season, I think it's going to help set up who Ellie is for us to follow her, follow
Yeah.
Ellie/Bella on this journey. So
Yeah.
I'm stoked for it,
And
man. I just
from what we know so far about about the series is there's very little details right now in terms of story and what is actually going to happen. But I think what we can derive right now is that it's basically an adaptation of the game thus far. Neil Druckmann and Craig Mazin. Craig Mazin of Chernobyl fame, and Neil Druckmann's the co-president of Naughty Dog. So it should be interesting to see how they handle it. I know that some people kind of like are not into the idea of a direct adaptation because a lot of us have played the game and want a different story, a new story, maybe play around in this world. But I'm super game for what they got in store.
This is what I
Even if
want
it
to
is
say real
direct.
quick. For all those who don't want a rehash of the game, I get it. I'm there. I'd love to set something else in the universe, but a lot of people don't play video games, and I think this is a really great story that everyone
Yeah,
should share. And not that being
agreed.
said, I think if this does well, they're probably going to do what they're doing with Game of Thrones and like Lord of the Rings prequel series. Like we'll
Yeah,
probably get some standoff series and meet a character
yeah.
within the HBO series that people are going to be like, this character is amazing. They should get their spin-off show. And there'll probably be a Last of Us spin-off show, and we'll get to follow
Fear
these
of The
other
Last of
adventures.
Us.
Yeah, there you go. The Last of Us World Beyond. So I think this is a good jumping off point to like get
Yeah,
in because I mean even if you've played the games, they've got my attention. Am I not gonna watch this show? Of course I'm gonna watch this show. Come
yeah.
on.
HBO quality. It's not even a typical kind of zombie project anymore either. It is,
Yeah.
but it isn't. The cordyceps infection that overtakes humanity and everything. So it could be cool, and it could do things that Walking Dead either didn't do, missed opportunities, or things that it just didn't know to do, so to speak. So I'm very interested. But without getting too hung up on that, we'll be back with more Last of Us news as it unfolds. But our next tidbit, I know Maddie's excited about this one. New details emerge for Predator 5, mysterious Dan Trachtenberg's mysterious Predator sequel. Yeah, you can read it. I like reading the things that I typed, but you can read it there at the bottom. Um,
It's gonna be scrolling by.
so it sounds like the project was known behind the scenes as Skulls, quote unquote,
Yeah.
and has a Comanche female lead character. You read the article. What can you tell us about this, Maddie?
It seems like it's going to be a period flick, which I have, as I said in a post on the Facebook group, I've been screaming for years that, I mean, they've done this in the comics several times, and I've always wondered, and I think Robert Rodriguez had a script where it was set on a ship at some point, and it was like,
Right,
it was a bunch of sailors taking on a predator. They were,
right,
like soldiers and stuff, and I was like, that sounds like a sick idea. Why aren't you making that movie? And it's I mean, I like Predators a lot. I think it has good moments. It sets it outside of like America, puts it on another planet, even if it does
right.
seem very American at times. I thought
Yeah,
that was a good direction to like get us off of Earth because I don't care. I've been there. I've seen two movies that take place and they've done it, and those two, Predator and Predator 2, great. Um, and
yes.
then in the Predator, which I think, and even the AVP movies, they still kept on going back to Earth. And
Hmm.
it's like, if you're going to
Yeah,
go back to Earth, set it in a period where maybe I'll get to see older Predator tech. and and warriors of a different kind that don't have the technology, that have to use like bow and arrow, knives, stuff like that to take out a predator, which I mean ultimately is
Right.
how most
Right.
of the heroes of the Predator films end up taking out a predator, is with like
Mm-hmm.
ingenuity and not like the top technology that exists
Yeah.
at the time.
Yeah.
But I like the idea that we're also getting a different gender to be the
Yeah.
victor, which
Definitely. And
did happen in
that's familiar.
AVP.
Right. Yeah. It did happen in AVP, and also I think in the Aliens versus Predators comics there was a like a character that shared some kind of kinship or camaraderie with a predator. Am I right with
Yeah.
thinking that Dark
Well,
Horse?
yeah, there was the Alien versus Predator, the Dark Horse like '90s
Yeah.
series. Like
Yeah.
basically, they end up on an alien planet. Aliens overrun. Basically, the basic plot of AVP, it was just like on a hotter planet, not uh, Antarctica or wherever they're at in that movie. And it's
Oh yeah.
aliens overrun. Predators come down to kind of like do their honor system and like kind of take over the and kind of fix the problem. And basically, what happens is three predators go down, one's left, and there's only like one or a couple of humans left. So the main character is an Asian character, and she helps the predator, and they have to like blow up this planet basically, and she basically becomes
Right.
one of them. And then there's a series after that where she just goes on these hunts with predators and like
Yeah.
lives their life, which is cool. I mean, I'd love to see
Yeah.
that movie, but I think
Yeah.
I love the fact that it's going to be like you're going to see all these great Comanche warriors be taken out, and this like female warrior has to like step up to like best a predator, which I think
Right,
is
which is at the core of like the theme that they're playing with. She's kind of described in these articles as being like somewhat of a tomboy in the tribe and kind of wanting to prove herself against like the masculine kind of programming that they already
yeah,
have in their tribe. And it's back in the day. I'm especially happy about all the tribal Native American kind of stuff that could be going into this particular film. I think that's a great matchup, Native American warrior with all their resources and ingenuity against, Predator, the one of the galaxy's most fiercest warrior hunters, and I couldn't ask for a better premise, honestly. I think
yeah,
this is some great news over here
yeah,
at Overly Critical. We're beaming about this.
yeah.
Anything else you
I
wanted to
will
say?
say there
Yeah.
was one thing in the snippet that I really like because a coworker brought it up. He's like, "Oh, who's going to be the white savior?" Which is a classic trope through all
Yep.
films at this point. And it says, "Way before Europeans settle," and I was like, "No white people, yes." So it should be like a pretty,
Yeah.
if Adrian Brody shows up at the end of this movie or something, and it's some weird time travel predators connect, then all right, fine. I
Yeah.
said it here first. It could show up because there's always white guys saving the day. But that being
Yeah.
said, the Predator franchise, even including the AVP movies, has always gone against the standard. For like Predator 2,
Yeah.
Danny Glover is the main star. No one saw that coming. People
Yeah.
think it's ridiculous, but I love that movie. Adds a
Yeah.
lot of lore, gives you a totally different body type to Schwarzenegger. This guy's
Yeah.
just a beat cop, man. He's
I
just
love
trying to save
Predator too.
LA. Yeah, it's a great flick. I mean, it's the '80s, so there are issues, '90s
Yeah.
issues with the movie. I'm not saying it's
Yeah,
perfect
for
by any
sure.
means, but it's
For sure.
great that you know. So, I mean, I like that they're going this direction because I feel like with the last Predator flick, they went with like basically white savior heroes, killed off any person of color, and it was just
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
just it felt really going backwards instead of going forwards. And there is some stuff I do love in
Absolutely.
that, being a fan of Predator, like Predators talking, and I just I love all that. I love to geek out. But yeah,
Yeah.
don't worry, we'll do a overly
We
critical
got
classics of Predator 2
absolutely.
because I
Yeah.
want to deep dive that shit.
For those you don't know what that is yet, folks, but we got some bonus content coming. And there'll be more about that on our post. Stay tuned to our social media for Overly Critical Classics and more news about what that is. I know we kind of talked about it a little bit, but let's move on. Our boy Nate was referencing Requiem, which was, I
Yeah,
thought, a pretty fun Predator sequel, just kind of like a slasher film
yeah.
style take
The wor-
on the
the worst
universe.
thing about that is the lighting in that movie. It's like the darkest Predator
Not too
film with
much.
the best like. I mean, it's like this predator called the Wolf that comes in to fix things because like
Yeah.
someone's done fucked up. And I love that idea, but you can't see him. He has like a really cool face if you see any of like the behind the scenes
Uh-huh.
photos and stuff, and it's just
Uh-huh.
shot so dark. But it is like a B movie, and it's just a mess. Like you don't care about any characters, but I kind of have to
Yeah,
go with
that's
I go
true.
to a Predator movie to watch Predator things. I don't
Yeah,
necessarily sign up for the characters.
I appreciate them not like trying to overbloat that aspect of it. They're very, bland kind of characters, but they move you along. They're the MacGuffin, and we're there to
Yeah,
see the Predator do his thing. And there's some pretty interesting visuals, especially with the alien Predator hybrid that we get to see. I thought looked pretty cool, even a little
yeah.
ridiculous, but
I
I
don't know
enjoyed it.
why it needs the dreads. Why the dreads? Just cut those off. It would like way sleeker and cooler, in my opinion. But what do I know?
Intergalactic
I'm not in.
cultural appropriation. The
They didn't
Predator
allow
should
me
be
in
offended.
Hollywood.
Well, I guess
Yeah,
it's a mix. So actually,
yeah,
it's about the melting pot,
yeah.
I don't know. Next on our docket is another interesting bit of news that I think some people knew about, weren't sure what the status was. But Rian Johnson of The Last Jedi fame, the very divisive sequel, but I would argue probably the most interesting out of the last sequel trilogy. His standalone Star Wars trilogy is still on the table. They're still working on
What?
a whole different trilogy based on his kind of tone of Star Wars, which I think, honestly, if he didn't have to deal with what they're calling the legacy characters, Luke and Han and Leia,
Hmm.
then, if he was able to step outside that, he would have been able to do, a much more, honestly, adult, darker take on what Star Wars is, which is cool. And, I haven't been the biggest outspoken fan of Rian Johnson, but I really appreciated the daringness and some of the takes that he had in The Last Jedi. What do you think of this news here, Matty?
I agree with a lot of what you're saying. So my thing is like with the legacy Star Wars stuff is this is like we could talk about this for hours, but I
Yes.
feel like I
Or as
needed
we
to
call
see.
here at Overly Critical, The Wars. More to come
Yeah,
on
the
that.
wars. So I mean, I like some of the stuff they did in the Last Jedi, but I feel like there was too much. Like I'm gonna upset the balance of things,
Right.
and I was
Yeah.
like, listen, if I would have had three movies or just two in the '90s of Luke Skywalker going on Skywalker dope ass adventures, seeing
Right.
old disgruntled Luke would have been a way easier to swallow. And I've said this since I've seen the Last Jedi. So
Yeah.
to me, that film is a disappointment because there was so much of this like we expected so much, and he was like, no, that I don't care about any of that. And it's like, listen, dude, you got to make Star Wars a Star Wars movie, especially if you're dealing with these legacy
Yeah.
characters. You got to make some of this stuff make
Right.
sense, but like at the same time, you can add your Rian Johnsonness to it. But yeah, have
Hmm.
Luke show up for a final battle. I mean, come on,
Yeah.
guys. We've all seen Mandalorian season 2. How great was that when you actually got to see Luke do some
Right.
badass
When
Jedi
yeah.
fighting? Because they definitely didn't do it in like they definitely didn't do it in the OG trilogy because of limited technology. So,
Right.
uh,
Right.
him doing his own trilogy, I think, is a great thing. I think after I was kind of sour on him, and then,
Hmm.
oh God, what, fuck, man, I am the worst when I get on this live stream about
What
remembering
movie? Brick.
the
Brothers
last
Bloom.
movie he did.
Looper.
No, the one that the
Oh,
mystery
Knives
film.
Out. Knives Out.
Knives
Knives
Out, I
Out.
thought was great. I had a great time watching that movie, and it kind of made me go, "Oh yeah, I like Rian Johnson. I think he's
Yeah.
a cool voice in cinema. I will watch stuff." So if he gets to make a Star Wars movie that doesn't even touch on anything from the legacy, I'm down. I'll be
Right.
there.
Yeah. To see him, create his own characters, and kind of excise his vision of it, and it's like kind of what you're saying about like it's got to be, Star Wars in at its essence, at its core. So it'll be very, it'll be very cool to see, him be able to play in those waters again, and perhaps he wants to make it more Star Wars, but maybe there was a bit of a distaste having to work with these characters that already been kind of painted into a corner,
Well,
yeah, so to speak, in the previous sequels.
yeah. I also feel like they didn't know what they were doing with the new trilogy, which
Yeah.
is a
Well, it
shame. You
was,
can tell
yeah.
by watching The Mandalorian, there is a set path. Like Filoni and Favreau sat down and said, these are the beats that The Mandalorian needs to take, and we'll have several episodes where we can have fun and kind
Hmm.
of like open the world if we need to, or close it off if we need to. Um, and
Yeah.
that's what's brilliant about having a game plan. Like, just having
Absolutely.
Rian
Yeah.
Johnson come in and go, "Oh, I'm going to write this script, and these are kind of the rules I have to follow."
They
I
had to
mean,
rip the Band-Aid off real quick. Well, I guess
Yeah,
it was
I
a
mean,
really
honest,
long rip of the Band-Aid with the last sequel trilogy,
yeah, I mean,
but
I just feel like
now we're healing.
yeah, I feel like from Force Unleashed to the final film, there's just a
Force
lot
Awakens.
like no one. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
talking video games here,
yeah.
real quick.
We'll talk more about
But I feel like there was a lot of good setup for like John Boyega to be a Jedi, to do a lot of stuff that just didn't seem to come to fruition, and I don't know, man. It's weird watching
Yeah,
now that it's done.
it was very confused. I feel like JJ has been really a powerful force in Hollywood for the last decade or so, and he's really creative, and the people that he brings on are pretty creative too. But I think there was a lot of rushing going on there at Disney Lucasfilm, and especially in that end, for me, kind of all fell apart. And and it's just kind of having a game plan, like what you were saying. Having a game plan is key, because it, as we know from like Lost or something, there's a real like kind of write it as we go kind of sensibility to what J.J. Abrams or Bad Robot are used to doing. So that was it was really tough to swallow, I'll be honest. And so now I'm out of that, I'm excited that Rian Johnson is able to see this vision a lot out of curiosity, and especially post Mandalorian, now that a certain standard has been set, I would say, that I feel for the fan base. So it's going to be really interesting to see now. It's like, he's one of the big boys that survived the bad season, and now he's up to bat again. Go ahead.
No, I'm ready for Star Wars to not be Skywalker stuff. Like, I'm ready for that.
I want all of it.
If you're gonna do a sequel trilogy, though, you got to take care of the story that's set up. So I'm glad he's getting to do this. I'll watch it. I'll turn up for every Star Wars movie thing they possibly can throw at me. I will watch it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm there for it. I'll see it.
Yeah, and it's exciting. I have been like pretty critical of Rian Johnson for years and years. I can't say that I enjoy his movies. I like Brick. I think is very interesting. Other than that, I have a rough time with pretty much all the rest of his movies. I haven't seen Knives Out though, and I'm sure, people change, people grow, and he's kind of a power player now. So I'm giving you respect in a very tough for me kind of way.
But
I just
don't hurt us again. Don't dare.
Don't you dare pull some Rian Johnson shit, Rian Johnson.
Yeah, right.
I just wanted to read the tweet real quick that kind of confirmed what was going on from Sarah Wilson, who I believe is either his representation or publicist or somebody. I'll know my facts one of these days. I'm just going to post this now because I can see that I'm going to get a lot of requests. Yes, Ryan's Star Wars trilogy is still on. No dates or timelines because he has other projects going on, but it is happening. That's all I know about it. As well as, what was the other thing I was going to say in terms of that? He's writing and planning out the whole thing, I read, and then also he's directing only one of them, so potentially they'll have some kind of like auteur perspective with other directors or something like that to kind of, maybe not, they'll probably get somebody like the dude who's doing Wanda or one of those company men, mad respect to them too.
As long as they I mean, if he sets out a path, let's just hope that they follow it, and
Right. We'll do, Nate. I'll watch Knives Out. I've been meaning to. I got to catch up on a lot of shit. Anyway, so those were our news items of this week. Hope you enjoyed that discussion, folks. Some really good stuff, I think. I'm super excited about that Predator. I'm very excited about more Last of Us news. And I'm excited about this Star Wars news. Kind of always excited about Star Wars news.
Always.
So our review segment for this episode, Maddie and I both watched Judas and the Black Messiah. And here we go. What do you think of it, Maddie? You go first.
So I'm sure people knew of Fred Hampton and his story, and having lived in Chicago, I feel like not a good Chicagoan because I had no idea.
Let me stop you before we get too too far. Once I was watching the film and I was just like, okay, looks like a good film. It's supposed to be a good film. And then I was thinking Fred Hampton, Fred Hampton, Fred Hampton. About halfway through the movie, it clicked and I was like, oh.
Yeah.
So anyway, continue what you were saying.
Yeah. So I wasn't really privy to the story. I watched like some of the special features and some of the Zoom meetings, and I guess I'm more familiar with Black Panthers of like Oakland. So I didn't realize that Fred Hampton set up all this stuff that Black Panthers would do all over the U.S.
Right.
Like the free lunch or free breakfast program and all the kind of stuff that the really great things that they did for their communities. I love this movie. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
I thought, oh my God, main actor.
Daniel Kaluuya.
I thought he was great.
Yeah,
LaKieth Stanfield. I love him. Yeah. I love him in Atlanta. Despite how you feel about the Death Note live action movie, thought he was very cool choice casting for the live action movie set in Seattle.
Cool. I got to see that too.
But I've always, like, anything he's in, I've always wanted to check out. I think he's like a great actor. I think he can kind of transcend characters that he plays, which is what you want in an actor. And it's just such a good movie. I loved every second of it. It's a hard film to watch, but it's great.
Agreed. I also directed by Shaka King, who has done episodes of the oh man, I had that pulled up.
High
earlier.
Maintenance.
High Maintenance. All right, we're teamwork now. We're getting a little better. You can tell, folks, we're getting a little better here.
Shaka I can't memorize that IMDb.
He directed some cool
pages?
shit. Look at his IMDb. I was like, I got this, but apparently I don't. Shaka King. But anyway, it was riveting. It's such a superbly made movie, well written. Just the execution of it all together was so good. It felt like a great crime epic. It felt like a Martin Scorsese film set with this backdrop of the Black Panthers and Fred Hampton and Chicago, and just everything about it was exciting. It was sad. It was inspiring. The performances by everybody in it were so good. Even the J. Edgar Hoover, Martin Sheen stuff, like it takes you out a little bit just because it's that kind of makeup, that almost uncanny valley weirdness, but it all served this grander purpose, and it was executed like a symphony, man. By the time you get to the end of that film and some of the more powerful realities that set in once it's done, it's just like a symphony crescendoing and haunting you, leaving you with thoughts about society and the world around you, and also on top of that, you just watched, like, I'll say the best film of this year so far. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I watched this. So if you watch it on HBO Max, which you should if you have it, because it's free to watch right now until it goes off. But there's a cool interview with LaKieth Stanfield. Cool. Totally blank it. The guy that hands him the drug towards the end. He's also in Get Out. And then the Lucas brothers, which I've seen some of their comedy and really enjoy. They're two twins, and they just kind of finish each other's sentences in their performance. I didn't realize that they were behind, like, getting the story made.
Incredible.
So they just it's a great dude. The script's great. I love, and I think I said previously on other reviews I've done that it, like, the soundtrack always comes kind of second to me when I go into a second or third viewing of the film. But this one really stood out. It's got really great jazz moments.
Oh, the music is incredible.
It's by Mark Isham and other guys that are jazz musicians. But put in his name if you want to listen to it, because it's kind of hard to find on Spotify, because you'll get this music inspired by Judas and the Black Messiah, which is a lot of hip hop artists, and I'm sure it's good.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
But if you want to listen to the actual score, it's you got to put in Mark Isham, because it just doesn't come up as one of your top choices in Spotify. But I loved it. I thought they were really great. Just like wide shots of characters standing there with these great jazz horns coming up, and I was just like, it's just so good.
Yeah,
well
the music
written.
really stood out quite a bit. It was another factor. Sorry, burp. Another factor of the film that just, like, kept the life of it, the vibrance of it, pushing and pumping and moving. Something was always at stake, and it was just getting more and more tense.
Yeah,
it's incredible. I was just I wanted to shout out a couple actors. Jesse Plemons, who plays the FBI agent that's in control of Bill O'Neill, LaKeith Stanfield's character, and it was really great. Dominic Dominique Fishback, who played Deborah, the love interest to Daniel Kaluuya's Fred Hampton. She was amazing. Also want to point out Ashton Sanders, who played Jimmy Palmer, who was in the Wu-Tang show. That's really good. Nice. And if you have not watched Wu-Tang: An American Saga, get on that. That is a great show. Missing
I'll get on it.
As well as, a ton of other actors. I'm not going to go down the whole list, but really great performances from a lot of these people that are, up and coming. Atlanta is such a great show, and pretty much everybody from that show has blown up. Zazie Beetz, LaKieth Stanfield. I forget the other guy's name who plays the rapper dude in Atlanta, but he's great. And obviously Donald Glover. I also wanted to point out, if you want a good Mark Isham album, look up Vapor. I'm going to just go ahead and derail the whole show here real quick.
Oh no, it's turning into a music live stream now.
It's called Vapor Trails. No, that's a Rush album. That
is a Rush album. It's a very good Rush album, and I highly recommend it.
I have to stop the show. Vapor Drawings by Mark Isham. Take a listen to that. Actually, Matty, take a listen to that. Tell me what you think of that album.
Listened to it.
I just wanted to pump the brakes there. We're talking about Mark Isham. He did the score for Fire in the Sky as well, which we've covered on the podcast previously. Anyway, so underrailing the show right now. Judas and the Black Messiah, out of 10 revolutionary thinkers. Wait, let me do that again. Out of 10 revolutionary icons, what do you give Judas and the Black Messiah?
I mean, I feel like we were hitting some low notes here on the last couple of live streams, so we got to go really high to make up for those two.
Okay, fair enough.
One was all right, so I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. It really opened my eyes to a story that I hadn't heard before, and just like what Bill O'Neill has to go through. Like, just, dude, it's such a struggle. I can't even imagine. And it was I was watching this interview with LaKeith Stanfield about how, like, getting into that character, like, took a lot out of him, because when he was reading the script, he thought he was going to play Fred Hampton, and he was super stoked. And then I guess Shaka was like, "No, dude, we're gonna get you to play Bill," and he was like downed. He was like, "Oh my God, how can I play this guy?" And they're having this conversation about how more people are like O'Neill in real life, like, just trying to get by, trying to get that one leg up to, make your life a little easier. And it's harder to be Fred Hampton and live that, like, unselfish life, like giving all of yourself to a community. Like, people can't, I can't do that. That's not, I don't even know what that's like.
Absolutely.
So it's a weird stance to say that, like, you relate more with the villain of the movie than, like, you want to always relate with the hero, right? Like, it's just such a deep movie. And it's 10 out of 10, man. I can't wait to watch it again. Like you said, it's the best movie I've seen this year. I hope there's more stuff like this coming, and the duds we watched earlier this year, just, got to get them out of the way to get to this good stuff.
They're fun to talk about, It puts the overly
we got to have
critical,
some duds on here.
It puts the overly critical, hyper analytical in the overly critical, hyper analytical movie club.
Yeah.
When we get the end. Yeah, I'd say out of 10 chairman of the Black Panther Berets, I will give it a 10 out of 10 also. I think our other highest rated film is Sound of Metal from this last year. That was a really powerful film. This film, my jaw dropped at the end text of this film after they play the last snippet of Bill O'Neill's actual interview. I'll just leave it at that. My jaw dropped. Just, again, the realities of the whole situation and how everything played out is just insanely compelling.
It's
good shit. So 10 out of 10 from us, guys. Go watch that movie. It's, if you got HBO Max, most people do, and I'm probably preaching to the choir right here. You're probably already watching it right now, or watching it this weekend or something. But
if you don't care about HBO,
we really enjoyed it.
I don't want HBO. I never wanted in my life. Just do that 7-day free trial, watch this movie, and then back out.
It's
worth your time.
I think about that too. I'm like gambling on what's going to be my first free trial. I've yet to sign up for HBO Max.
Yeah.
I have other means. But
what
was I going to say? I get passwords from friends. I'm on a few family profile.
Oh, I see what you're doing.
Shut up! Don't put me on the spot. Nobody's supposed to know my secrets. But yeah, so Just watch it. It was great. I was going to say, if you did watch it based on our recommendation, go to our YouTube channel and subscribe and leave a comment. We'll give you a shout out in the next episode.
Yeah.
You can hear me say that a lot. This.
Apparently that's what you do, because every YouTube video I watch now says those exact things. And I usually subscribe.
Yeah. So that's our review for Judas and the Black Messiah. I can't say more about it. It's super good. Right now I'm trying to pull up the group page at facebook.com/groups/overly critical movie club. Go join it if you're not already joined. If you're watching on YouTube, come get in on the conversation with us. Right now I'm just killing time because I'm trying to pull up the post for the next item on our... Oh my gosh, I'm pushing the internet here. Go ahead, Matty, take it. Do a dance or something.
Oh,
pop and lock. Matty does a really good robot.
I can't do it. This is all I got. This is my one dance move. This is
show him your Betty Boop impersonation.
Clubs. I can't. I'm not doing that. I can tell him some of my favorite sequels though.
Okay, so I'm ready.
All right, good. Let's do it.
Had to have him stall the good job, Medios. You're a trooper. Hold on.
Once the clubs open back up, if you're in Seattle, let me know, because I got that move and I'm ready. Right. I'm ready to go.
So Matty likes to ask a question each week to the members of our group. What are some of your favorite sequels? And so we're going to read a few of those here. If you object to us showing your name on the stream here, apologies. Just go ahead and write us a comment, berating us, telling us we're, terrible people, and do your thing, rip into us. I kind of enjoy that. Bit of a masochist. I don't mind. But so hopefully you don't mind that we're showing your name anyway. So what sequels would you say to start off with, Matty?
I mean, I got Aliens. I like Alien 3, the director's cut a lot. T2, Predator 2. Glad you mentioned it, Stefan. Yeah. Sometimes I like to respond to these. Sometimes I just like to see what happens. Mm-hmm. Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance, which I pulled up on the last question I asked about non-MCU flicks. Yeah. That you like from Marvel's
that was a good
movie
one too.
Timeline.
Blade 2. I should have said that.
Blade 2. Yeah. Blade Runner 2049 I thought was dope.
The string of your last few questions, I was just going to put Pacific Rim Uprising each time.
Yeah, you should. I love that movie as well. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of good sequels out there, and I think Absolutely. I think the ones that stand the test of time are going to be the ones that try to do something different the next go around. Like with Aliens, they just put more aliens in it, and you had Marines instead of space truckers. That's great. That's what you do. I don't want to see the same movie twice. So absolutely, yeah. So what do we got here? We got Ace Ventura: When Nature Calls, Jason B. I'll say, I know you can read it, but we'll just say Jason B. Empire Strikes Back for sure. Blade Runner 2049 for sure. Indiana Jones Last Crusade, good one. I'm gonna go ahead and say Temple of Doom for one of my entries. Oof, yeah, I love.
We got T2 Judgment Day, absolutely. The Bourne Supremacy, I'll give you that one. They did a pretty tight, nice little car chase, in a very creative way. Fury Road, amazing, absolutely. The Dark Knight. How could we not include it? X2, X-Men United. I would have said that one. My memory's getting shitty in my old age. I struggle to answer these questions as quick as I hope to. But that's a good one. Spider-Man 2, of course. So Mario also said Sister Act 2, Back in the Habit. Props to that one. Nate S., we got Godfather Part 2, The Empire Strikes Back, The Dark Knight, Toy Story 2, good one. Breakin' 2, Electric Boogaloo. I'd never actually seen Breakin' 2. I'm no good Nick. What else do we got here? The Raid 2. If you have not seen the Raid films, check those out. Very good martial arts, Indonesian martial arts.
I don't like the Raid 2 much as I like Raid 1.
I agree. I don't enjoy the story quite as much as Raid 1. Raid 1 is just simple, it's simple and to the point and great fight scenes. Mm-hmm. But I do appreciate the epicness that they tried to push the second one to, and some of the scenery is really great. But yeah, I agree. What else? Let's read off a couple more of these. Evil Dead 2, absolutely.
So good.
Back to the Future 2, come on. Quinn P, Tamara K, Jordana S, Before Sunset, hell yeah, great movie. I love the Before series of films. Addams Family Values.
I haven't seen the most recent one.
I haven't either. They made a bunch of them. There's like every hour of every day before
Yeah.
waning
I
gibbous.
think it's
and
like
shit.
before midnight or something is the
Before midnight. That's right. Yeah, gotta watch it. Link later. I mean, come on. Those are some of the most. If you
just
like that
recently watched
lyrical,
School of Rock. So
artsy
good.
fartsy flavor, School of Rock is great.
Not a sequel though.
Halloween 2. That's a good one. Oh shit! I'm getting a message here. Don't read that, folks. That's private. That's Andrew actually talking about. Can you see that popping up?
Yeah, it's popping up.
This is my personal Facebook, folks. So have a gander. Well, it's the group page. But Andrew from Superhero Stuff You Should Know podcast is talking about Melina MK. We got on Thursday. We're going to talk about the trailer. Apparently, the trailer is going to drop tomorrow. So we'll be back tomorrow night for a hot take episode with Andrew to talk about the Mortal Kombat trailer. To round these off, let's just go ahead. Aliens, you said. Weekend at Bernie's 2, Major League 2. I love it. Color of Money. Jeremiah M. Awesome. And we got Matt Herring. I'll just read off some of his. Spider-Man Far From Home. Friday the 13th Part 3. I also said Friday the 13th 2 to 4. I like a lot. Rooster Cogburn. Nice. Sequel to True Grit. Kill Bill Part 2. John Wick 2 and 3. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Thank you all for answering the question this week. We'll be back with another question next week and every week after that for you to answer and show up on the show. Basically, if you give us any attention at all, we'll give you a shout out.
It's true. We want all the attention.
Yeah. We're here. Get used to it. So
Every
anyway,
Wednesday.
that's what I had prepared for this episode. You watching anything lately, Matty, that you could recommend the folks at home?
Oh yeah, I just finished Undone, Amazon Prime original. Really
All right.
cool.
What do you
it
give
ends on
that out of 10 mystical Mayan animated
I think
series?
it kind of it starts off a little slow for me, but I think once it picks up, it like really starts taking off, and you get a really interesting like family drama plus like some sci-fi ness to it.
Yeah.
I think
love
everyone's
Bob
performance
Odenkirk's
is great.
character.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Rosa Salazar. She was in Alita. She was also in the Maze Runner series, which I like a couple of those flicks.
Cool.
Yeah, I thought it was
It's
really
why-
well done. It kind of ends on a cliffhanger, and with COVID, a friend and I were watching it, and she was like, "Is there going to be a season 2?" And I was like, "I don't know. COVID's ruined a lot of stuff, but apparently there is." So that's good
Right.
news. And then
Nice.
the other
That
show I've
was
been
good.
watching, I don't know if I've mentioned it, is Servant on Apple TV. It's produced by M. Night Shyamalan. He's directed some
Oh, right.
episodes,
Right.
but I think it's written by someone else. But it's a really cool, weird, creepy show about a couple who lose a baby. They hire a nanny because they have a fake baby, and the mother still believes that it's alive, and so does the servant. And things kind of just escalate into this weird and some supernatural stuff starts happening. Like maybe she has some powers, but it's just got that like we were talking about the old trailer, maybe last live stream. Or these days, I'm too old.
Yeah, we were talking
So
M. Night.
it definitely has that
You're
style
old,
of
it's
like those
old.
long shots, looking down a hallway, just good horror movie shots. And I'm into the story, and the
Servant.
characters aren't all what they seem. They're not all great, and so it's good. I highly recommend it. It's season 2 is on right now, and I think the next episode premieres Friday. So it's still going.
Okay, I'll check
so
it
if
out.
you want to wait for it's done and then do that 7-day free trial to get through season 1 and 2, pretty rad show. I'd be interested to see what other people think. But
Hell yeah. Awesome.
What you watching?
I can't say that I've started anything new or I'm super deep in anything. I did finally catch up on Titans season 2. I really enjoyed the first season until the season finale, which I thought was super rough. And then season 2, a lot of cool things happening. I like some of these actors. I enjoy a lot about it. But then by the end of it, I was just like, what are they doing with these characters? Why am I still watching this? It's almost, I have issues with this DC universe, man. I feel like if it's not CW, it's a little Michael Bay. It's like, where is it? What are they doing to my brain? I really like the actors that play Rachel and Dick Grayson and Starfire, and Isai Morales as Deathstroke was really cool, I thought. But even then, it's like the story, I don't know. It was okay. It was okay. I felt like the season finale of season 2 was a real letdown. I didn't want to spoiler. I know in the comics that Donna Troy comes back from the dead or whatever, but I just thought maybe build up to it in a better way, not have her go out in such a stupid way. I don't know if you've watched this,
Yeah.
but anyway.
Oh, I've seen it, and I agree with everything you're saying.
Yeah, had a rough time with Titans too. I really wanted to enjoy it. I hate Gar. I can't stand him. I hate the stupid CG tiger, and I can't stand that actor. I'm sorry. In real life, we could be friends. I'm just saying,
Not after what you just said, but
I know, never gonna happen, buddy. I do watch a lot of YouTube. I watch a lot of YouTube. I'm trying to zone in here and trying to get our show popping. So expect me to mimic them. No, I don't know. Hell yeah. Well, without anything else much to add, if you'd like to support the show and you're enjoying what we're bringing to the table here, first off, if you'd like to support us, go ahead and give us likes on Facebook. If you're part of the group, please go to the YouTube channel. Let's get it poppin'. Subscribe there. Leave a comment in the comments in any one of the videos, and you'll get a shout out on the next episode. What else do we got? Also, go to our patreon.com/overly critical movie club. We have a $3 tier. That's for general support. You'll get free monthly wallpapers that I'm currently illustrating. I'll have one of those each month, which will be really cool. I really like them. We also have a $5 tier that's more the premium membership, which will get you early access to bonus content, exclusive episodes, and you'll also get the other perks such as the wallpapers and shout outs as well in each episode. I'm about to roll out a $1 tier here. Look for that in the next few days, just for those of you who want to throw us a little bit of change if you got it, which would be really great. We'd really appreciate it. We appreciate you sticking with us and watching the show and joining the group and talking about movies with us. We absolutely love it. With that being said, go to facebook.com /groups/overly critical movie club and join this group so you can hang out with us outside of our live stream and get in on the conversation. Sorry, I know I'm a cheesy fool, but I don't care. If you want to follow us on Instagram, we're at Overly Critical Movie Club. I'm Wolfie Cruz at Wolfie Cruz, as well as at Wolfie Cruz Art. Matty is Old Beardo. You can find our merch at tpublic.com. Go up to the search bar up there and type in Overly Critical Movie Club. We got a selection of a few shirts. More to come. We got more designs in the works for those. I'm also going to move us over to Threadless as well, which will be pretty cool. They allow you to do a little bit more with your store, so look for that. And if you want to contact us, if you want to correct us on anything we had said in an episode and got wrong, or you just want to berate us for being totally incompetent movie dudes.
Oh, we deserve it.
Then go ahead and leave us a message at overlycriticalmovieclub@gmail.com. I'm saying a lot. I don't know. Fuck it. I don't care.
It's live.
This is Wolfie. I'm signing
this ain't
off.
Scripted.
We love
Matty.
you.
Bye-bye.
Or hold on, I didn't queue up our outro.
Oh.
All right. Peace.